हेलो।
हाँ भव्य।
ऐड कर लूं?
क्या?
जो भी आए हुए हैं उनको ऐड कर लूं?
कितने लोग आ रहे हैं वेटिंग में?
15।
कर लो ऐड, वेट मत कराओ किसी को। और
ठीक
थोड़ा
है।
बात करते रहो सबसे, अपना वीडियो भी ऑन कर दो।
1 मिनट।
ये देव देखिए बेटा, देव कपूर तेरे को मातर चोट कही थी।
प्लीज वेट फॉर अ मोमेंट।
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Sir, I'm good. What about you?
Okay, then what is the position? Has anybody joined?
Yes, sir. We have participants in this group, and then we this session is live on YouTube right now. So some people are watching it here, and some people are watching it on YouTube. Our faculty coordinator is having a bit of problem in joining in, so I'll just ask her to join quickly so that we can start the session.
Okay.
Right, sir. I'm sorry for the delay, sir. Actually, there is some
नहीं कोई
technical
बात नहीं है, कोई बात नहीं, no problem. मुझे बताइए जब भी हो तो I'll do that.
Sure, sir. Sure.
ठीक.
I think Sunita ma'am is here with us.
Okay.
Ma'am, kindly acknowledge if you are there.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, Professor.
Good morning. How are you? You are fine. Good. Oh, great to see you. Good. Very
Sir, it's
good.
great to see you too.
Okay, I'll have to. Yes.
Namaskar, sir.
Okay, then. नमस्कार. You are fine. अच्छे हैं आप? Okay.
बिल्कुल सर, आशीर्वाद है आपका.
Okay, ठीक
It's
है.
great to have you with us, sir.
नहीं, this Swapnil ordered me to be with you, so I could not.
It's just a request from us
So
to have
I
the
had.
pleasure and have the blessings to have you with us.
नहीं. I don't accept anybody's orders, but only of my students, teachers, and friends. So I always obey the orders of students.
That is very kind of you to say.
So very fine. Good. So anything special you want from me, तो मुझे बता देंगे.
I'll just request Sunita ma'am to introduce you to our audience and welcome you officially in this conference.
अच्छा.
And
ओके ठीक है, खूब तारीफ कर लो, कोई बात
I'll hand over it to Sunita ma'am.
नहीं। अच्छा उसके कोई अच्छा
Good
ठीक।
morning, everyone. Good morning, Professor Vani. And it's a pleasure having you and I on behalf of Manipal University, Jaipur School of Law and the Consumer Protection Cell that we have established in February 2019 itself. We are dedicated to spread the awareness about consumer affairs and consumer laws among the common men, and our students under this cell are doing their job efficiently and with their full hard work. And I, on behalf of the administration, the president, Professor Prabhu, pro-president and dean, School of Law, Faculty of Arts and Law, Professor N.N. Sharma, and director, School of Law, Professor Vijay Lakshmi Sharma, I cordially invite you all to this event, and I full-heartedly welcome Professor Vani with us.
Thank
And this is a pleasure having you, sir, here. And I look forward to a great session and the awakening that you will bring up to our members who are joining us today. And I would like to enlighten everyone about the work that this Consumer Protection Cell has been doing in this short span of time of just few months, a year and a few months. We had so far conducted workshops on the consumer behavior. We have conducted workshops for the helping staff that is working at Manipal University, Jaipur. We have organized mock parliament on the consumer affairs. We have our students have conducted a survey on the consumer education among the local villages of the Jaipur, where our university is situated. It is in the midst of 5 local villages, and they have tried to bring the awareness among the common men there. And we have also organized a webinar on efficiency in arbitration along with consumer affairs recently during the lockdown period. And Swapnil, as the president of the club, has been doing this work very efficiently. I am the faculty coordinator for this club and trying to put up my part of guidance as I can for these students. And in this series, we have tried to bring together some of the eminent people in the field of consumers, and Professor Vani, who is with us, who is going to enlighten us on these aspects of consumer laws. I look forward to a great session, sir, and I humbly thank you for being with us, for accepting our request. I would not leave the opportunity
Thank you
of
so much.
acknowledging our advocate DM Mathur, sir, who has been our mentor, and he has been there with our students all throughout. And I look forward to having sir with us. I'm not aware whether Swapnil sir has been able to join us.
Oh, ma'am, sir has, I don't think sir is there. Sir will join shortly. I had a
Okay.
word with him.
I would not leave the opportunity of having a word with DM Mathur sir also. But first of all, I would request Professor Vani to take over, because I will not waste the time of the attendees by my words. Sir, please, over to you. Please enlighten our students and the members of this conference.
Okay, great, Madam Sunita and Swapnil. I think I'm audible to you.
Yes, sir.
Right, sir.
Okay. So it's a pleasure to be with you during this pandemic period. And this came to us with definitely various challenges and gave us a good experience also. So looking to things from that point of view, I believe that without traveling a lot, I am with you. That's something good. But coming to the topic, I, as have been told, talk on access to justice. And then definitely, since you are doing work in consumer protection, so I shall definitely say something about consumer protection as regards consumer justice in the country. And I believe that most of our, participants here are students, teachers, maybe advocates. So from that point of view, I would mention one important thing that is important from my this angle of looking to things. Yeah, that's when an advocate goes to the court of law, he has been put in a culture where he talks to the judge or prepares a petition from this point of view that he knows some case law about it and says, since the court has said this thing, that thing, and that thing, and that thing, and he starts from there. In the same way, when a teacher goes to the class, he also talks more about that Supreme Court or High Court said in this case, this thing, this thing, this thing, that. And the student is also developing the same habit whenever he is supposed to uh, study a provision of law or anything. He also begins with the same thing that Supreme Court in this case said about it. Maybe it's equality clause or it may be a provision in consumer protection. Then he also starts with the same thing. The court in this case said like this. Here, maybe you like it or not, but I'm saying it from the point of view of realities. That all this is basically an imitative approach. We, the people of India, we have been given an education system where we study what has been told to us to study. And that's how, when we want to study something, then we go to look for a book, and then whatever is in the book, if we know it, then you are an educated person. You are a qualified person, of course, though there is some difference between qualification and education that way. So I want that this approach should change, and more so in case of access to justice. The question is then where to start. I think I must congratulate uh, Dr. Sunita and Swapnil. They have started this consumer protection mission. I'll call it a mission. This is a big thing you are doing. By this, you can do it only when you go to the society, and you will see what is actually happening in the society. You can see there the Bentham's pain and pleasure. You can see there what are the feelings of the people, what is actually where law exists in the actual form, and what are the difficulties which are faced by the people, and then so many other related things you come to know about it. And if you go for 5 days to a village, and then you note the opinions, views of different people, sufferings of people, and maybe happiness also. And then I think you can develop a good note or a book or a kind of magazine on that. That will be the actual material. That will be the actual thing that is to be read. And after that, you will see that how the things are done in court. Then only you will say how the advocate is pleading. Then you see how the judge is responding. And then you can go to a bureaucrat also and see what is his behavior, how he is working, and what are his priorities, what is his mode of action. And then you will go to the legislator also and see that what is his mind, what is he observing, how is he responding, how he understands his responsibilities, how he can be better for the people for whom he is a representative, and whether he himself actually understands the actual things or not, or maybe he is only obsessed with it that I have now become an MLA, MLC, or this MP or whatever. So he has his own priorities that way. So this continues because we academicians, we are not producing the students who can study the provision of law, who can study the society, and then make an opinion, be informed about it, be informed about the realities, and then go to see that what the responsible people are doing. Whether he is maybe a block development officer, he has to also do justice because he has some powers, he has some duties, and he owes those duties to the people, whether he is doing his work or not. And that has to be done if he is doing justice to it. And whether he is doing justice to the people, it's not only the judge. The role of the judge is only to see after the action is taken whether it is good, bad, in law or not, whether it is permissible, not permissible, this thing, that thing, that's another thing. So this idea has to be now taken well, and we have to study things from here. Then originality will come with us, because we will be ready and good informed about the actual happenings on the ground, actual needs of the people on the ground. And then from there we can develop a policy. As we recur, we see here is a deficiency of this thing, so our policy should be like this. We are having inaction in this area, our policy should be like this. And then when we find we are good in some area, we can say we can multiply it and make it better. So the question is that the area of study of law and justice, and then access to justice, we have confined in such a way that after every another 10 years we say that we have not succeeded, and then after another 10 years we again have an evaluation of the things. We don't see that we have reached anywhere. So the question is that we have not to be now imitative, as I always say, that when you have to understand something, it's not that you will start with all these things as we do, that what the court has said, what this is said, what somebody has written. No, I think we must start it with actual examination of the things on the ground. And there you will find somebody is not treated well. There you will find that somebody's privileges are not being respected, maybe senior citizens. Or there you will see that where the exploitation is existing. And there you will find that what are the difficulties for a person to have access to the court. There you will find that what are the things that they are needed to be done, and then accordingly you can bring it also. The system of administration, the system of lawmaking, and the system of administration of justice. Otherwise, we have certain set things, and then we are in the habit of quoting, in that case, this is held. And why I am insisting on it is, in our country, we have good lawyers, we have good judges, we have good number of courts, but nobody is happily going to the court to agitate his matter. He is thinking this is the last option, because he knows that he is definitely not going to have access to actual justice. He cannot approach a lawyer. Maybe he is a poor person. Maybe he has not the time every time to go to attend the case. What will be happening? And so many uncertainties are existing. And he does not know even that whether the lawyer he has engaged is the best best one, or he's very competent one, or he's compatible one. He's not sure about all these things. That's why it has become the last option when it should have been the first option. And that's how automatically, if we look from another angle, the situation is we have now alternative dispute resolution mechanism. We are talking much of it. But if we go through the idea which I am saying, that a person who wants justice, he is not having the first option to go to court. He is trying to use the first option, that let me reconcile and suffer the pain, let me not do anything. If he has a little bit potential, he will talk to his friends about it and relate it. If he has a little bit more potential, he may talk to some influential person in the locality and like that. And if he does not get anything, then he goes to the court. Now, if we go by realities, court becomes an alternative rather than court becomes the first thing. Because no person wants to have this as the first option. So it's a reverse kind of thing. What we actually read, study, understand, talk about, on the ground, the situation is different. That's how court has become an alternative to all what one can do in the society itself, in the circumstances he is living. That's something great worry. That how can the justice system be brought to the level where anyone who suffers for any reason is having an immediate and easy access to the court. And he is proud of it. And he is having full confidence that I shall be getting justice. It's not the question of getting a favorable judgment. It is the question of expressing one's concern, pain which one suffers because of some action of another person, maybe his own brother, maybe his own another family member, maybe his neighbor, maybe even a government official, maybe even anybody, who is very much in the legal system itself. So we will say one is having access to justice as the first priority only when he finds it easiest to go to the court of law. And if he is facing very, very wranglers and crucial steps in it, then we find one is actually denied justice because you are having so many difficulties in having access to it. If I get to a consumer today, how many consumers have the potential when they suffer any kind of exploitation at the hands of a service provider or at the hands of any commercial body or any person? How many of them are quickly feeling that we can get the benefit out of the existing system and they will stop this kind of exploitation? They will give me the relief and this thing, that. I believe that that level is not still there. That kind of access to things is still not there. And that kind of confidence is also not in the people today, because we have not worked in that direction that way. That was long back in 1987 when an act was passed about this, this uh, yeah, under which these legal services authorities were established. Then we found, yes, that became a system, but that system also could not promote that kind of access to justice system as it should have. That became another agency, yes, of course, a supportive agency that became, but at the same time, we find that a common person is not feeling very much confident about it, and he is not using them, and the system is not approaching to the court. Here I may tell you, you must have heard of a jurist, Sir Henry Maine. He is a jurist from historical school of law. And you may be knowing or not knowing that he has served as an officer in India for a long time under the company. And then I will tell you, he was made jurist. I believe he was made jurist by India itself, as he has given all those things that we have a movement from this status to contract and all that. What I have to say about him this time is that once in a dinner or some party or in some meeting, he was asked by someone that what is the difference between justice system in India and justice system in England. At that time, long back, you can see, he said there is one difference, that in England we have justice available at our doorstep. But in India, a person has to go to beg for justice and search for the doors of the court, enter the gate and all that things. How he can do it, that is the main difference here. What I am trying to say is that does any law student today feel, any law professor feel, I don't make any difference between assistant, associate, and all are professors. So we'll be saying any student of law, any professor, or any other, or maybe any judge and an advocate, can he tell us that we have justice available at the doorstep? Do they even think of it? Do they even think of it, what it means to bring justice to the doorstep? Have they ever thought of it? Are they thinking? And then how it is to be done? Who will be the persons who will do it? Are we thinking from that point of view? I am telling you the realities. I'm not bookish. I don't want that those we can read and we have been reading. But what I'm trying to see, that once you have established this forum, I am having that centric talk at that moment, at this moment, and that's how I'm saying that how can we bring justice to the doorstep of the person? And for that, you have to take many steps. One is, please identify that who needs justice. I don't know, has anybody worked on it or no, nobody. Now, most of the people are trying to do PhD. I think they must look to it and do some work on it, that actually let us see in the society that who are the people who need justice. Maybe my sister needs justice because I am not giving a share of property to her. Is she included in that? My mother needs justice because I don't maintain her well. My neighbor needs justice because I am exploitative and I am using his premises for my purposes. I am exploitative. Maybe another person with whom I am living, and I'm on the way, at home, at the workplace, or in the market, in the economic system, in the administration system. Have we identified the people that who need justice? And all of them need justice of their kind. It has to. And then have we studied the system, that whether justice is available to all these people who need justice? What are the procedures for that? Are we having sufficiently trained, sensitized people who are manning that system, and they will ensure justice to all these people who deserve justice? I think that this is not being done. This has not been done. And yes, I will not say that I will say you have done it because you have found a particular group of people. Yes, consumers need justice in the present day time, because in earlier days we had more value oriented, morality oriented, ethics oriented market, workplace, and others. So we did not talk much of it. All of us are consumers, and all of us need justice because there is too much exploitation. We don't know how the prices are fixed. And if the goods are defective, we don't know how to get the remedy and how long. And then if we are damaged in any way by the wrongful or under quality goods, then who will give us the damages? And I think if you are harmed in this way once as a consumer, then you don't have 2 years, 3 years from your life, which you can spare and then go for the remedies that I shall get a remedy for. So you have to, when you will begin, you will find that we have lot many people in the society who need any kind of system whereby justice is to be brought to them. There are very simple things sometimes. Maybe a school is denying admission to a student, a child of anybody, maybe poor or whatever. He is fulfilling the norms, but he is not given admission. What will he do? Can that poor father, or maybe a middle class father, think of going to the court and getting this justice to himself, so that his child is admitted in a particular school where he wants to him when he is fulfilling the norm? I think uh, if you take these right from these, these are the basic things where things start. And then if somebody uh, you know so but I was trying to say that like that you will find so many people, I'm telling you, belonging to different sectors, and they are not getting this. And when you look to the Legal Services Authorities Act, when then you will then look to the state legal services authorities, High Court Legal Aid Committee, Supreme Court Legal Aid Committee, you will find that what actually is happening. They will take certain popular cases, maybe some big environmental issue. All right, that should be taken or like that. But who will bring justice to the people at the doorstep, or at least to the position where they can have access to it? That becomes a big question. And that's how, when you have chosen this topic, access to justice, I'll repeatedly say that we have to approach to this from this angle. We have to become the Henry Mains of our nation. We have to become then Roscoe Ponds of our nation, because we have to see that why a particular problem is there, and then how many of us can be a part of the social engineering. We have been taught social engineering. Are we really having the skill, quality, and then facilities that we can have a good social engineering? Can we do it? And maybe we have the materials, but we don't have the skill to use it. We have the idea, but we don't know how to implement the idea. And that's how can you have it? This access to justice is the best part of social engineering, but I have not so far till this day and this moment seen any professor talking legal aid as a component of social engineering. How can you do it when 90%, 95% of the population of a country are not able to avail the benefits from the legal system, from the administrative system, from the schemes given by the government, and then from the judicial system? What sort of social engineering you are teaching, promoting, or actually doing? I don't know. So the question is that we have to get to a different dimension. And then at the same time, when we are asking, we have to become, as I said, Henry Main and Savigny's of our country. And we are generally told we must adhere to our traditions, we must adhere to our traditional values, historical values. But there also we have to be very conscious. How can we bring justice to the people? That way we must use these values in such a way that we become very good lawyers, very good judges, very good administrators, very good legislators, so that we bring justice to the people at large. And I think there also we have not to count the stories of heroes. We have not to count some other things which are not relevant. There we have to see that where pain was existing in the society. For example, when I find that if we look to the gender justice in our history, did we really have a very good gender justice system in our country, in our nation? Does our history present a very good picture of gender justice? To what extent? And then when in this 1857, after that, first war of independence, then law making came, or that time, law commission was established in 1938 or so, and then they started giving us the new laws, and we found that we are given very different concepts, how injustice was being done to children, and daughters were given in marriage, especially even in Rajasthan, as you are there at your university is there. So what justice, was done in history to these, people, those innocent girls. That is our history. Now we have to correct it. And then there were so many other kinds of exploitations, bonded labor. We had, and that is existing still in different shapes. We have child labor that's existing in different shapes still there. This is our history. We have not to ignore it. Uh, and that's how, we are then reading our history critically with benefit, so that we can reform the systems. We don't allow these things to continue in future. So excess justice is not a topic that we'll just go to the few provisions of Legal Service Authorities Act and then say there are legal services authorities and in the state level and then district level and this level, and then legal aid lawyer can be appointed, and there is access to justice. No, you may not believe that in 2009 I selected a group of people, my students, because it's ultimately the student who does it, and we sent them to Tihar jail for a study. That study was not a jail visit. We prepared a pro forma. In that pro forma, we wrote the name of this prisoner, then what is the offense, then who is the legal aid lawyer who has been assigned to them by the Delhi Legal Service Authority, and then when was the last hearing, and then which is the date for the next hearing. So I wanted that this data we should get. And when those students examined 1500 prisoners, and they got the data on it, you will not believe that many of them were not knowing that which is their next date of hearing, what is the name of the legal aid counsel who has been assigned to them, what are the actual charges against them. And then it's as many of the law schools, they say we have sent people here and there, and since I'm in the habit of looking to things from the real point of view, so we thought along with there was some good this project officer in Delhi Legal Service Authority, so he helped, and we saw to it that let us see actually what is the position there. And you may not believe that then we presented this data through Delhi Legal Service Authority to the Chief Justice of Delhi High Court. And uh, you can see there were so good revealing facts that at that time, Chief Justice of Delhi High Court was Justice A.P. Shah. He called all we students, we were around 100 people along with me. He called us in court number 1 of Delhi High Court and said, have you really done this study? And asked questions, because he was surprised by this. Is this thing happening in the jails, in the prisons, and is this the legal aid system we are having? So the question is that it's not merely the establishment of a scheme or a system, and then some people get job in it, some people earn something out of. That's not bad, let us do it, very good, somebody is getting benefited. But what is the outcome, what is the product? I think if we go to the history of 1987 up to this date, this history so for 33 years in a good way. I think that can become the heart and spirit and something worth worshipping. People must have that this is more important than any place of worship, more important than any parliament, more important than any legislature, and more important than any office of a bureaucrat or a this state secretariat or central secretariat, because this legal service authority is my protector, it is my savior, it is giving me justice, and it is what I have faith in it. That's 33 years is a long time, and that's how you have to examine it, that even when we have an act, even when we have a machinery, even when it says that women may be rich or poor, they will have free legal aid. Any underprivileged will have free legal aid. Any person having income below this level is will have, when we have everything written in it. But actually, why we have not been able to develop that on the ground actually? And then above that, we all are students, scholars, and teachers. Then how many evaluative studies have been made, that to what extent we have succeeded? And then what should be done? That is more important. What should be done? That's once about this National Legal Service Authority and others, they had some evaluative process, and then they went to different places, had some the evaluation system was having seminars, this thing and that thing, which was quite wrong. Because evaluation has to be an empirical study on the ground, that how many people have actually benefited from it. You will not believe it. I'll not name the state that I was probably last year. I found a scholar from there. I said, on what you have worked? She said, I worked on legal aid. So I said, I think legal aid system in your state must be very bad as it is elsewhere. He said, no, no, there is a very good system. I said, okay. Now, on which part you have, worked? She said, I worked on this, gender, women, as women perspective, legal aid and women perspective. I said, now tell me, when you made study of this district, tell me how many women benefited from that system. Number one. Number second question is, how many women consumers benefited from the system? Number three, how many divorced women benefited from the system? And like that, how many children benefited from that who were exploited? Sir, मैंने तो इस तरह किया ही नहीं. Then I said, what did you do then? The system has to be evaluated from the point of view of outcome. We have to see that what was actually delivered on the ground. You are saying that they are having this, this maybe the staff is very good, and then they are, uh, having a good office, and they are having some mobile van also, and they are having this also. I said, okay, they may go on foot. I'm not saying, to me the vein is not important. It's important then when an outcome will come out of it. To me, their office, very good office, computers, this thing. That's to me then only if some benefit is given there. So I would say that we so what I was trying to say is that as I will again go to my main hypothesis or thesis, I should say, that we have to be real, not imitative. We have to see that, we have to develop that kind of nature. Let us see on the ground actually what is there. So here also, when we evaluate these systems of access to justice, then to what extent they are providing it, and to what extent we are examining and evaluating them from time to time, and then to what extent we have been able to do all these things. Then here I may also tell you, dear friends, that at the same time, overall education system, as I was telling you, legal education system, that has to be looked. We have to say, of course, there were sincere people who gave us the system before, we had the Advocates Act. Again, there were very good, sincere people. They gave us the Advocates Act, and after that, we had a regulator, and we are having these things, and we are respecting all that. We do respect all of them. I think we should, come out of being imitative. We have to look to the, ground, and then see how we can promote the people trained in law, educated in law, that they will question all what is not giving a good dividend. They must question the system. They must question these things. Yes, they should not be bad workers, that they will, they are not working in the system well. No, they should be very good workers. And then they should see that how we should promote the system. Then they should also be able to say what has to be abandoned, and they must also see what has to be adopted. This like a railway line. If we find this railway line is not going well, you abandon it and have another one. Why should you hesitate? And this, that way. And if you are not having the ability to establish a better one, then the defect is because the system has not produced you as a very good scholar, as a very good student, or as a very good teacher, or a judge, or a lawyer, or as a lawmaker or legislator. So mine is that let us see, examine thoroughly what is in our courses, what we teach, how we teach, and what are the facilities available. And then should we read only the written books? Should we only have access to sites and have computers only? Or we should read also, as I always say, unwritten books. Unwritten books are in the society, which the people, then systems are there, schemes are there, and all that has to be connected with our basic ideals in the constitution. So we have to develop that capacity. And now, if you are now habitual of imitating, no, let me say, okay, let me not fight you. You are imitative. Okay. But then why are you imitating what has been given you to by others? For example, we may say UK, we may say US. All right, whatever they have, you may imitate. But please imitate that how they have developed their system. They also started from a scratch. They brought a revolution in their system. Imitate that. Now how did they bring that revolution? That is better. We want to bring a justice revolution in our country. We want to have the revolution of access to justice in our country. Then we imitate that spirit, and with that spirit, we modifications, transformation in our legal education system. And we prepare a very good scholar, a lawyer, and a judge, that who has the ability to see more about the purpose of this legal system, rather than whether the machine itself system is good, salary is good, other things. That's all right, that must be there, buildings must be there, this thing. But at the same time, whether we are actually making justice system and the court or any other forum, including the consumer forum, are we making it like really a good temple or not? This is the temple going there. that zeal, he will definitely have a good access. He will express himself. He will be responded well. And under the law, if his claim is best, it will be served to him. Or why not to prepare the student from that point of view? Because we have not to make him a decorative groom with legal education. No, we have to make him a problem solver, because society is full with problems. People are facing everyday problem. And the lawyer is the person who is a problem solver. He is not anybody that, yes, that will result in his earning also, survival also, but primarily he's a problem solver. As I always tell to any law student, whenever I find him in worry, I tell him, why are you in worry? He says, sir, problem hai. I say that a lawyer should not get lost in his own problem. No? We are having problems. He must be a problem solver. He has sometimes forget his own problem and solve the problems of others. And he has not to get lost into the problem. So we have to promote him as a problem solver, and he has to look for justice anywhere. As some of my students, I am very happy with them. Whenever any person will come to them, sir, that secretary, that district magistrate, he did this thing or that thing. So then how they will not always tell him, okay, let us go to the court and all that. They pick up the phone and give a ring to the secretary, give a ring to the district magistrate. Mister, this person has come to me, and he has this problem. Why did you, why don't you look to it? You look to it. Otherwise, we'll have to go to the court. That's a very long system. And we have 1.3 billion people in this country. Shall all of us go to the court of law? Mr. Secretary, Mr. Magistrate, Mr. Administrator, you are also responsible to do justice. Examine the case well, and then see it that he deserves these things. There should be no problem with him. He wants a very small kind of license. Grant it to him. What are the hassles? There is not anything like that. And you have not laid down the tiles in a street in a particular locality in Jaipur. Why didn't you do it when you had the funds, Mr. Chief Engineer, or the action of the area? Why don't you do it? See, these are legal aid kinds of things. No, you have to see that. You have to promote. You are implementing the agenda of the constitution. So I think the legal education has to bring to the mind of the law student that what is actually happening in the society, in the country, in offices, in courts, in parliament, in legislature, they must be very live to it. And then when they know all these things, they know the law, they know the need for them, they know the purpose of them, they know what are the machineries for that, they know where the machinery is not working well, then very good. They will go to it and then attend it wherever it is required. That is having access to justice anytime. They will not drag everybody to the court, and that's how things can happen. And when necessary, they must be well equipped with the knowledge. They must be well equipped with the skill that they can go to the court and then revolutionize the mind of the judge also, sensitize the mind of the judge also. And they must present the case in such a way. Nobody should think that he is a legal aid lawyer, he is an access to justice lawyer, and therefore he may not be well prepared. No, they must know it that legal aid lawyer, legal aid student, legal aid teacher, he does more work than any other ordinary student lawyer or any other person, because it is his mission to bring justice to the doorsteps. That's the point. And now I will say about the use of technology presently has to be there. Earlier you had going from door to door to understand and study the problems. If you are having very good portals, I think you can know the problems of the people right sitting in your office, in your room, or somewhere maybe in a garden. You are on a morning walk along with your laptop or mobile, and you are receiving that somebody, some citizen, some person in this area is in this kind of suffering. So you can note it, and then you can then act as per your system. Whatever the system you are having, you can respond to it. And then I think the whole of the legal system, justice system, and alternative justice system that should get use of this technology, and you must be able to carry his pain, the suffering of the person who needs justice to anywhere. And then you have the friends, you have the teams, and you have the guides, you have the mentors, and then you must have the supporters, that all in this way can become so. And then I may say that who will do it ultimately? I don't find anybody. My generation of people, they have not done it. And then the next generation of people, they are teaching in the same way I said. uh, and the judges of my generation, they are following the same thing, that in this case Supreme Court held that thing, in that this thing, that they are repeating. And I don't think that is needed to be done in 2 3 days. And then you have to look to the actually what this law is doing in the society, that has to be seen. And then after that, who remains there? I think our princes of justice are the students of law, because they only, we see that they can do it. From them there are expectations. They have to train themselves, they have to learn from the mistakes and the deficiencies of their earlier generation. They have to look from and learn from the deficiencies of the legal system on the ground. They have to look from the deficiencies of the lawyers, when they have not become the friends of the people, because people are afraid of the black coat. They don't want to go to a person who is wearing it, because they know of, they don't have that faith. Priest, they, a lawyer should be like a person with whom anybody can have a faith, like he is the priest of a true temple. I know it that presently these temples and those mosques in other places, there also fraudulent people are only there. The question is that lawyer should not afford it. Lawyer should become a real priest of the temple of justice, and he must be the real. Even if he is not having a new branded suit on his body, but that's why the gown is being no gown is covering it. People must love his gown. People must love his bands, and they must say, this is the person who will carry my concern, my pain, and my deprivations to the right place, and then have a right response from them. He'll fight from it like a mission. And you will see that this is not impossible. This is possible, and you will be followed in the same way as true priests were being followed in earlier time. True, leaders, spiritual leaders were being followed in earlier time. This with you, that dear law students, you have to develop yourselves, because it is you now. I'll tell you a story out of my life, that I was a student of sciences, and I was a botany student also. And once we had to prepare a herbarium in our BSc, and I went to some of the hills along with other students, and we said in 2 hours or 3 hours we'll come back. We had to collect 25 species of plants. I collected so many. I believe I must have collected 100 plus species, but I was late to return back to the students. And once I came back, I was thrashed by the professor, that why did you take so much of time? And you had to do only this much. I told him, sir, please listen to me. I am a student and you are a professor. The question is that I have to qualify the examination. Then I have to get the certificate and appear for interview also. Then I have to show my work also. I have to do a job. I want to have a name in the society also. People must recognize me, so that I have these things. I have to work very hard. You are already a professor. You cannot understand my problem, what's inside my heart. I have to go a long way. I have to do the things. That's how you law students. I always say I may not be able to make you this Dean Pound, but I can make you Dean Vani. At least become Professor Vani and see it, that I have, this is my life. This is study of law is my game. Study of law is my concern. And I have to myself learn. Now I am more than 18 years of age. I must see what are the books, what is in the society, what a lawyer should know, Who is a good lawyer? He is being loved by the people. Who is not a good lawyer? Not being loved by the people. Who is a very good judge? He is liked by the people. And then you become worth access. You become a means of access. You become a vehicle of justice, and you are loved. That's how you have to become. And I believe that the people around your university, in the larger district, and then in the state, and then in the country, people must look for somebody like Dr. Sunita, like Swapnil, that they can provide us a way to go for justice. That's how you can start it, and you can see that people will be there. And then from consumer protection point of view, there is a big problem now that everything, most of the things are happening online. And then these are technology oriented. You are not able to see the quality of the goods, even if it is a food stuff. You don't know it. How can you examine it? You are having now genetically modified products. You don't know its good effects and bad effects. And there are so many, what are these everybody has to purchase a mobile phone now. And if you have two children, you have to purchase it, and you have to see it. And then four, it must be, if two have two children, then four mobile phones. And they, after a guarantee of 1 year, every year you have to purchase a mobile phones for 1 lakh rupees. And then what is the security? And you will get a good service and all that. How can you, this consumer protection becomes a very important area. I'll tell you that student can do it. They can do it. And I may tell you, when we started some legal aid kind of business in IT University, Delhi, then a person, one of our students, he found somebody purchasing a chocolate and from a local vendor, and there was some kind of fungus on it. And the student, he was very, once he found him, he told him, don't get disappointed, give it to me. And he made a complaint to the consumer forum, and they sent a notice to the vendor. And that company person came to him and told him, you get 1500 rupees, please withdraw the complaint. And they were saying, no, no, we will not do it. But ultimately, they did have a compromise. The question is that you are the eyes of God, you are the eyes of justice, you are everywhere. You have very good coordinations between yourself. Wherever you find problem related to access to justice and all that, you coordinate, you have the concern, collectively think, make big networks. And then by that, you can agitate any of the problems, maybe in your state or elsewhere, in your locality, and then look to it that justice is done. But my request in all that will be, with love, affection, concern to all of you, is that you must be very straightforward, clear at heart, clear at mind, devoted to the cause of justice. We want justice, and nobody should get harmed by us unnecessarily. Also, we must definitely examine the situation, and then, if wherever it is needed, you will render the service. Maybe when later on, you will automatically become the lawyers right from day one today, when you start doing it. And then you will have good sustainable profession also, I believe, and you may get very good positions as well. But you must have a clean heart, that we don't side for anyone, but we side for fairness, justice, rationality, reasonability, bringing happiness, peace. And we want to remove this grief, pain from the mind of anybody. And if somebody feels that हाय मैं कर लेता लेकिन मैं कर नहीं पाऊंगा, और पुराने जमाने में वो किसी से हाय राम करता, हाय अल्लाह करता, लेकिन आज आप उससे कहेंगे, आई एम स्वप्निल here present, tell me what is the problem. We have a system. Yes, you pray to God also, but at the same time, I shall look that fairness is done to you. I know the forum where to go. I know the authority where to go. I know the person where to, seek the remedies. You don't know it. You are a common man. You are also respectable, but I'm in it. I shall look to it. And that's what can make possible justice uh, and that can make justice possible. It can make it accessible, and then it can become fair also. And that's how we can develop an access to justice culture in our country. I more believe in culture of law, legal culture, constitutional culture, and then culture of fraternity. Every human being must be others' friend. From this point of view, that if somebody deceived, some person in market has deceived another person, he must feel that I have been deceived, and they must together fight for it. That market is run with values, not with exploitation. Authorities work with fairness, not with exploitation, because every other person is you, and that's how I think anybody. I think if you want to get some kind of confidence, then I must tell you that one of the good examples is in Swami Vivekananda, for example. Then he did have a mission. He made some advices and passed away just at the age of 39. And then he had the name which can live for many centuries. This how you can get the confidence from many people. There are so many. If you get to religions, in every religion there have been some good heroes also. You can take some strength from them without getting over obsessed with these religions and then these ashrams and all that. No, but good people have lived there, and maybe in the secular world, for example, Premchand ki kahaniyan you can see, and then you can see. I always say, please read them. You will know what is the society in India and what is the society today, how people feel about the things, and maybe some stories from Rabindranath Tagore, and maybe in you are in Rajasthan, maybe some stories of some other saints and all that, and then get to the things that yes, we can live the life of the lawyers who make access to justice possible for anybody, and who is wherever there is pain, wherever there is suffering. That's how. And I would say that maybe some people may like to ask me questions, and so that's how I think this is enough for the day, because I say that you know of Amrit. We had a very good professor, and nobody was telling him anything whenever he would speak. But one day I said, no, I must tell him. I said, sir, अगर अमृत भी बहुत ज्यादा पिएंगे तो पेट फटने का खतरा हो जाता है, तो इसलिए जो है कि so we have to stop somewhere, and we have to then learn to act also, and then to act with a benefit also, with an outcome also. So I think I must stop, and some questions may also come, because I also want to learn. My students are my teachers, my friends are my teachers. I learn from them only, and then that we learn from one another. And that's very important. So God bless you all. Please ask some questions.
Sir, I have one opinion, sir. It's not a question. My name is
Acha,
Kiran.
I want to know your name.
Yes, sir. My name is Kiran, and I'm studying in Law College of Khammam.
Oh, great, great.
Yeah.
I have visited Khammam once. Yeah.
Yes, sir. So when it comes to the Consumer Protection Act, what you say makes complete sense. But when you talk about justice in the real sense, like in the whole of it, particularly in India, there are reasons why laws are broken. Like we can categorize them. Like one category is people break laws because they don't know the laws. One category is people break the law because it's not, they cannot help it. Like an accident happens, they know that it's wrong, but then the law is broken. But most of the times, particularly in India, law is broken because people have faith in the Indian judicial system, that even if I break the law, I will not be held responsible and I will not be punished. Especially people who are habitual lawbreakers, they break the law because they know that they don't have any consequences. in this environment, I appreciate that no, we as a lawyers, we should go and then identify the people who needs justice, and then we should protect them. The fact is, every person in India is needing justice right now, because everyone, there is a good reason why nobody is going to the court, because they
Yeah.
know that if we go to the court, we will not get justice. That's a faith, that's a belief, and it's a fact. Because once a crime is committed, if you get if you get a decree after some 20 years, no matter who that decree is favoring, both the parties are at loss.
Yeah.
So in this scenario, I don't think that how can we go and then go to people and then install belief in Indian judicial system, where and one particular scenario when you said that the Delhi High Court justice, like you made a survey and then you took this survey and then you presented it to the judge, and if the judge is really surprised, either he dug his head in the sand too long, or he is a fool if he's surprised. It should be obvious to him that people don't believe in justice, or people don't believe in courts.
Okay.
So this is just an observation. But when it comes to consumer protection, we can provide speedy justice, because this is one part where the courts are very fast, because the number of cases are less, or I don't know why. But this is one part where we can go and educate people and then give them justice. But if you talk it in the broader sense, like you told about one more example, like you talk to a woman and then you ask how many people you actually helped. There's a good reason why she don't have the data, because if you go by the data, and then if you actually see how many people you are helping, you'll be discouraged. So okay, again, this is my opinion. So the core problem is not identifying the people and then giving them justice. The more important problem, the more important thing to do is make the judicial system realize that delaying the justice is harming people. Most of the people won't go to the court because they know that they will not get justice. Most of the people break the law because they know that they don't have any consequences, or at least, for example, I have complete confidence that if I go on road and then murder someone, if I have enough money, I can get out of it. The only reason why I don't do it, because I'll have to spend a lot of money to get out of it. And if I cannot get out of it, at least I can delay the judgment by some 20 years or 30 years, and then I can be free. And justice system has proved this time and again. And in any advanced country, in any developed country, I can see a direct relationship between speedy justice and development. Like in countries like US or UK or any European country, if an act of crime happens, at most by 2 years, you will get some some kind of order or some kind of verdict. People may say that if you speed up it, there may be some cases in which you can get wrong verdicts and then people can suffer. But then the thing is, if you don't speed it up and then if you take 20 years, in all of the cases, justice will not be served. So the main problem is this. Okay, I don't know if this is relevant to the current topic or not. This is just my opinion, sir.
Okay, I'm grateful to you. You said it. Once I visited Khammam during the period when that demand for state was taking place. So it was good to hear from somebody from Khammam. What I would say that all what you said is also highlighting of the problems which are existing in the system, and they are very much related to access to justice. You are very correct. It's not quite irrelevant. But here again, I would say that it raises many questions which need to be examined. That how this, when I used the word revolution, that the purpose was that there is not one problem that we can solve it, then the system will be well, good. No, you have to revolutionize the mind, you have to revolutionize the system, the work culture, and then belief. See, I'll tell you, I'll give you an example that it was once I was in Calcutta with some university for 2 3 days, and we found some good environmentalists from Supreme Court and from the voluntary sector there. So they had to speak, I had to speak. I told them that we cannot solve the environmental problems unless we change the this lifestyle. If we continue with the same lifestyle, how can we solve the problem? And in the same way, I'll tell you that when we have to really change from a culture which is obsessed in certain kinds of mindset, in certain kind of lifestyle, you cannot revolutionize it. You cannot bring a change. You cannot make it law oriented. You cannot make it justice oriented. If somebody is interested in some old kind of pride and then a system, so all that has to undergo a change. I think yeah, that's not impossible. We will in due course of time, it may take time, but I would say that at least we must try to see the systems from originality. From originality, I'll give you another example. There is a big FICCI auditorium at 500 meters distance from Supreme Court, and there was a program that how to reform the justice system, and people were speaking for 1.5 day, referring to Sweden, referring to France, referring to other places. Then after 1.5 day, I said, there is some problem. I feel that we are speaking of reforming the system in India, but everybody is coming here. Somebody is giving the example of Sweden, somebody of Hungary, somebody of Australia. But when we have to reform the system in India, why don't you talk about it? What we have to reform here. So I am happy that you referred to the problems existing on the ground in India. I believe that if we start addressing them, we'll definitely bring some kind of reformation. But I'll again say, let us not be imitative. Let us see what is the problem we are facing in India, in our society, and start addressing them. And that also from the law student point of view, and these very law students will be tomorrow the lawyers, the judges. I think they will bring a revolution that way. That's my response to you. Any other question, please?
I request you all to ask questions in chat box, please. Right, sir. There is no question, I believe. And before asking Shivani to give a vote of thanks, I would like to request you all to remember what Professor Afzal Wani just said. He said that we need to be social engineer of the society. That is the same thing which was followed by Professor Shamnat Bashir, who was found dead in car accident last year. He he was the founder of IDEA, an organization which strives to provide access to legal education. He had worked extensively in field of intellectual property and other things. So in
I
his
think I
memory,
I think Swapnil, I must say a word that I could not say it in the beginning, but it's
right,
good
sir.
to remind that he was a Shamnat Bashir was a very noble soul, and in the early years of Indian Law Institute, when I was there, that all these this
So you have muted yourself, I believe.
all these were like you must have heard the names of Vakul Sharma, and then
Right, right, sir.
that another famous lawyer, IT lawyer, who is having conference every year, Pawan Dugal
Right,
and
sir.
Shamnad Bashir and all. I was then in Indian Law Institute. We had started there. I always found him a great soul. And last we met in Kuala Lumpur, this Singapore, 2 years before or so, and then that was also Asian IPR Scholars Conference. I think he was. We must remember him. And that's great of Manipal University and you people that you did organize this program, in his name. I think we must learn. Let me tell to all Indians, you must learn to revere and respect your scholars also, and quote them also, and what they have said. And you have created a very good example. Otherwise, we keep quoting to all others from others. I don't say you must not respect scholarship from anywhere in the world, but at least you pay attention to the scholars here also. That's why I was talking of Premchand and others. Yeah, that was very great of it that you remembered. Uh, God, may put his soul in peace and have sorg and all that. I pray for. Okay, so Apnil.
Right, sir. I would like to invite Shivani to give a vote of thanks to Afzalwani, sir. Shivani.
Good afternoon, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes,
Yes,
you
you
are
are.
audible.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, sir. Hi, Swapnil. Good afternoon, Sunita ma'am, and good afternoon to each and every person who's an attendee over here. It's my privilege to have been asked to propose a vote of thanks on this occasion. So I, on behalf of the Consumer Protection Cell, School of Law, Manipal University, Jaipur, attend a very, very hearty vote of thanks to you, sir. And the way you spoke about a lot of things was indeed thought provoking, especially when you said that an advocate, when he enters into the court, he's introduced to a system, he's introduced to a culture which is similar to what students are introduced to and what teachers are introduced to. And most often this reminds us of a system that education system that India is currently going through, which is the imitative system, and how we should have an empirical approach instead of just an imitative system. Glad your ideas on how lawyers are the real royals are supposed to be the real priests of temples to provide access to justice to people who are deprived of such justice. I
Okay, I think that was enough. Acha, there is some network problem is there or
Swapnil,
what?
if you permit.
I think
Yes, ma'am, please.
so. Should
Swapnil,
we
if you
leave
permit,
now?
can I please say a few words?
Right, sure,
Okay.
ma'am. Please, ma'am.
Professor Vani, I am really thankful on behalf of Manipal University, Jaipur, my club, my cell, the Consumer Protection Cell. And I wholeheartedly really want to thank you for promoting, for motivating our students to be for what they are born. They are the born lawyers, sir. All our students from Manipal and other students who have joined are blessed by your presence. And I look forward to a revolution through these students. And I assure you, sir, that we'll soon meet personally once the COVID era is over. And I would not lose the opportunity of inviting you to join us
Thank
at
you.
Manipal
Definitely so.
for a
So,
for a session for all our students who could not
yeah,
join in today.
yes.
And we would surely like to have the opportunity of your presence here at Manipal, sir.
Definitely,
And
definitely.
yes, sir. And these students are really the torch bearers. They are going to prove your words and bring a revolution in the execution of law and giving justice. And they are really working hard And may this consumer cell bring a change in the system, at least in Rajasthan, that we have
Definitely.
started now.
Yeah.
Thank you
It
so
is
much,
the
sir, for your
Rajasthan.
presence.
Okay, thank you. So
Thank
should
you
we
so much
leave
for your
now?
time, sir.
Okay. Okay.
Sure,
Thank
sir.
you.
Sure. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Swapnil. Thank you,
Okay.
everyone.